The topic of today's panel, I believe, is very integral in growing investments in the UAE because we have here a fantastic panel that either owns and runs their own companies. So what you hear from this panel today is really hard-earned experience and people who have done it before. So the topic of the panel is what is the role of the private sector in supporting the food security strategy of the UAE. I'm going to give each panelist just 30 seconds to quickly introduce yourself to the room, please.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ananya Narayan. I'm the CEO of Hunter Foods. Hunter Foods is a leading manufacturer of better for you and innovative snacks in Dubai from 1985. We have brands such as Safari Aladdin Alibaba and now Hunter's Gourmet.
Hello everyone, so my name is Ahmad Shamieh. I'm the general partner of Homegrown Ventures. Homegrown is the first investment firm in the region to be exclusively focused on FMCG startups. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Olaf. I'm the founder of AGZIA, Food Industry Brainiacs. What we do is we design and channel investments towards the food manufacturing space. May it be the better for you or the staple types of foods. We're there to make it happen.
So I'm Mohamad, Khachab, co-founder of B&B Group. B&B is a food conglomerate company specialized in snacking manufacturing. We founded the company back in 2007 in the UAE. We scaled it all the way from Southeast Asia to North America, more than 30 plus countries. The company was acquired 2 years ago by AGZIA Group, and I personally stepped down from my role as a CEO earlier this year. I'm more passionate now about mentoring and investing in the ecosystem.
Hi everyone, my name is Yousuf Saleem. I'm the managing director of Barakah Dates. We're a family-owned business and we specialize in the processing and packaging of whole dates and date ingredients, which we export to over 90 countries today from Dubai.
Thank you very much. So we're going to start with a question for Ananya. Hunter's Chips is a beloved local product, a household name, and exported to more than 90 countries. Not many UAE brands have achieved the status. So how would you promote locally made or made in the UAE to encourage more such private sector success stories?
Mahmoud, first of all, I would like to say our vision as a company is that we want to be the #1 gourmet better for you potato snack manufacturer in the world. And we want to do that from the UAE. And I believe it starts with first having the right mentality and having the mentality to export. If you don't have the mentality to export, then the rest of the process doesn't work. But once you do want to export the product, and that is part of how you build a company, then it is making sure you've got the right product that is going to have the demand around the world. The second, you have to make sure that the logistics work. So by the time you get the product to these markets, it actually makes sense from a pricing perspective. And that's when you have to choose the right markets. Because which market is big enough and where can you be price competitive in those markets? Once you know the markets and you've got the right product, you've got to find the right partner, the right distributor. Because without the right distributor, you don't have that route to market to actually penetrate each of those markets. And together with the partner, you have to establish the right pricing strategy. Correct. And the right support. And most of all, you've got to have the perseverance because it's a tough, long journey. Now at Hunter Foods, we do supply to many, many markets. And when we went through this exercise, we realized countries like Korea, Thailand, Philippines, Japan were some of the most opportune markets for us. And in fact, in 2022, we caused a truffle mania and we became the second biggest imported potato snacks brand in Japan, behind Pringles.
Wow.
Everything being manufactured here in the UAE. In fact, there was a point where retailers were allowing the shoppers only to be able to buy 1 pack of chips per customer. There was a quota set. And that created even more demand. And the whole point is we've managed to do that from here. So UAE has the resources, but you've got to find the right product, got to find the right formula, the right partners to make it all work. But most of all, the right mentality.
And to crack a market like Japan is not easy at all. It's one of the highest standard markets in the world, and they have so many products on the shelf. They're not. It's not a closed, protected market. So to enter there is really a huge achievement.
That's why Japan was the benchmark, because it is the toughest market in the world to crack.
I can imagine. Yeah. Thank you, Ananya.
Thanks.
Ahmad, Homegrown Ventures is a pioneer in raising tens of millions of dollars in capital from all over the world. And you invested in promising consumer packaged startups in the UAE and the region. How can a VC like Homegrown Ventures play a pivotal role in attracting investments to the UAE's FMCG and food industry?
No, definitely. I think it's quite a valid discussion. There was a lot of hype over the years in terms of investing in tech, and it became a thing. While in reality, when you look at the numbers, FMCG and food products are way more resilient. They tend to achieve and be stable 3 times more than tech, as an example. So when we started the journey, our focus is being a game changer in terms of selecting and identifying the companies that really will disrupt the FMCG industry. Because key point is how can you differentiate, how you can create a startup or support a startup that is able to bring a unique, differentiated product in the market that kind of recreates the whole industry and be able to go and grow globally. And that's where we came into play, and that's where we thought, okay, let's start identifying these companies and let's provide more than just a fund or a financial support. We're gonna mentor them, help them scale up and grow, and help them reach a global status. And when we kind of looked at UAE, we believe that UAE can be the gateway for global expansion. And we've seen that happening across different sectors. So take, for example, Huda Beauty. It started in Dubai, but it's now a global phenomenon. Take Jumeirah Hotel Group. They kind of redefined luxury hospitality globally. And even when you look at FMCG, there's so many beautiful examples that they started from UAE and now they're reaching the world. Starting with Hunter Foods, starting with B&B, and many others, including the startup that we started, Mahmoud. And that's where it gives you that confidence that, hey, it's an area that supports innovation, supports new concepts. There is so many people driving it, and it can be an angle for international expansion. And our role is to match those global investors that are looking for that innovative experience product to the local ventures and get them to take the journey together.
And how do you make sure that you choose the right business to invest in?
It's always exciting. So, for example, over the last year, we spoke to more than 250 startups within our region. And aside from testing it and enjoying it, and that's the beauty of FMCG, right? You get to touch it, you get to see it, you get to vet it. We really go through a full commercial due diligence from the point of vetting the product, making sure it's unique, it's differentiated. It's a better for you product because that's an area where we see the consumer habit and taste is shifting. People are looking for better for you, a product that is healthier, more environmental friendly, more sustainable, and all of that. Then we look at the business model, how the company is operating, how their go-to-market is, how is the founding team behind the company driving it. So we do a full analysis, and based on that, we kind of select the best company out there that can be scaled massively.
I wish I met you before I sold Munchbox. I would have enjoyed pitching to you and would have probably gotten your money.
That's why we needed to get a new startup in place.
Olaf, AGZIA guides investors in the food space from feasibility studies up to designing and building their manufacturing facilities in the UAE. Between private and non-private investors, how do you see the fund's deployment dynamics serving the country's agenda at enhancing food security?
Yeah. So evidently, when you talk about private investors, they're primarily driven by market opportunities, profits, and returns, right? But when you start looking closer at a market like UAE and our region specifically, and you start vetting where the opportunities are, you realize that there is an intersection. There are many intersection points between what the private sector could be interested in terms of product and opportunity on the product, and what it can match with the food security agenda at the public and governmental level. So that level of intersection is quite interesting because together with the efforts that has been put in place in the logistical and the infrastructure platform of the country, it creates a certain attractiveness for the private investor to come and establish manufacturing power here in the region. And once that is established, it doesn't only benefit the manufacturer himself, it benefits the whole ecosystem, from manufacturing to distribution to logistics to even the traders. And even I want to mention that because it's often forgotten. It also benefits the global brands that are not in the region because it gives them more manufacturing capabilities in the region, and rather than shipping product across oceans and across continents, they can have the confidence that in this country or in this region, you have manufacturing power that can actually do our product with our own standards. So again, the linkage between private investment and public sector opportunities is quite immense in this region.
I agree. And it saves a lot of cost if you produce
saves a lot of
here,
cost. Not only on staple foods. I'm not only talking about milk, meat, water, and bread. We're talking about value-added products, the type of products that Ananya and Ahmad already touched on. These are extremely important. Value-added propositions, further processing of fruits and vegetables. We were talking about baby food earlier on. There's so much opportunities that can fit the profitability of a private investment, but also tick really important ticking points in the food security agenda of a government.
Great. Thank you very much. Mohamad, I'm going to use a nickname that I haven't shared in public before, the King of Kunafa. You founded and built one of the most, if not the most, successful confectionery manufacturing businesses in the region, B&B, and recently sold it to AGZIA, an achievement that very, very few have matched in the region. How can the UAE leverage expertise from such successful exits in the food manufacturing industry to foster yet more investments in the region?
Awesome. So it's AGZIA, not AGZIA.
Yeah.
So this is what.
Sorry, this is
one of the sponsors here. Okay. So look, very good question. What I think we need more here in the region, more mentorship to startups and founders, because most of the founders here are either coming from another country, from another culture, and they want to integrate within the community here, which is not easy. It takes some time to integrate, or someone coming from the corporate world, like yourself, and trying to start up something for themselves. In both sides, founders needs mentorship. And what I think, and this is what I'm doing, let's say part of the giving back to the community, what I think companies that really made it and exited, maybe we can create a mentorship program for these founders. So one of the things I'm doing is I belong to a nonprofit organization. Ananya is part of it as well. It's called Endeavor. Who doesn't know Endeavor, for example, it is a huge entrepreneurial nonprofit NGO organization that has 4,000 high-impact entrepreneurs from all over the world in 55 plus countries. And what Endeavor, for example, has done for me, they have helped me to open the doors worldwide, in the 30 plus countries I opened. So what I think is entrepreneurs, and maybe Ahmad, you can be part of this, and is to help entrepreneurs really from day one, to mentor them, to help them scale the product, scale their network, and this is what I see I'm sure you're looking at this, you're thinking like, you know, I have passed through this. And most of the founders, like ourselves, when we started, it was so tough for us to understand things that others have done. So someone like who has done this and passed through all the right and the wrong, you know what's right, what's wrong to do, what's costly. So this, all things, it costs a lot of money. So I always say, like, if you are an entrepreneur out of Lebanon or Jordan or Egypt, it costs you less money than starting up a company in the UAE or in Saudi, for example. You know, so what we need here as entrepreneurs, we need an ecosystem that supports them to pass all this costly, unnecessary issues that they face.
I'm nodding my head because this is a topic very close to my heart. I used to work for Procter & Gamble on Mars, where I had no idea how the box reached the shelf, because these deals were done 20 years ago and the contracts were already set. So when I started Munchbox, I made so many mistakes, so many expensive mistakes. Had I had a mentor like yourself, I would have probably been able to grow the company a lot faster in a lot shorter time. So
Right.
I fully agree that mentorship really cuts a lot of unneeded waste and expenses completely.
Right. Thank you, Mohamad.
Thank you. Yousuf. So Barakah Dates is one of the largest local players that processes, exports locally grown dates. A role model in contributing to the UAE's food security. What does it take to have more such food security business models in the country, in your opinion?
I think when you talk about food security, you talk about more reliance on your own production and your own manufacturing within the country, and reducing the reliance on importing per se. This requires more emphasis and more encouragement on locally made, more homegrown ventures, like everyone has just been saying, and a push from the other key stakeholders within the ecosystem of today. So, for example, simple thing like retailers. So a push from retailers to give preference to more local brands, homegrown, made in UAE, all of that. And this will then further encourage potential investors, entrepreneurs to set up base here and know that there is a home for their products locally here. There's a market. You will get support from your other stakeholders within the community, and examples within our own business. Recently, we started manufacturing an alternative to apple and grape juice concentrates made out of dates. Now, typically, a lot of this comes from East Europe for use in many of the juice companies across the country. Now, this is an alternative sweetener or an alternative product that is available in your backyard today. Why not take advantage of that? The amount, specifically talking about the dates industry, in the entire region, we are surrounded by 5 million tons of raw material. So there is no worry of non-availability of raw material. So yeah, that's I think one of the key points.
And you guys are one of the most innovative date companies. You were doing something with the date seeds, and you were using it for alternative products as well, as I understand.
We're trying. You see, at the end of the day, today they say we're a net zero waste company. It's nice, right? You have no waste material. Even to throw waste, it costs money today. So, and the beautiful thing with the date fruit is everything can be used, from the cap of the date, the seed, the fiber, even the leaves of the palm tree are dried and used and produced into chipboard today. So nothing goes to waste. Compost from your waste material of the plant. So every part of the date has something to add, and there is no way, and this then ties in nicely to the whole sustainability aspect, where nothing goes to waste. It's a fruit that can be used in any form, for various uses, from energy to cosmetics to many other things today.
I think we should have invited you to the sustainability panel before this one.
I'd argue a lot with those guys.
So back to Ananya. Yours is one of the beloved household names in the UAE, and you're contributing significantly to the country's ecosystem in terms of hiring people and giving back to society. So how is Hunter Foods helping develop local companies in the country?
So for the first part, after having a factory in the UAE for 39 years, we had the choice to build a factory anywhere in the world. And we have chosen to have it again in the UAE. And we're building a bigger, state-of-the-art factory, which is going to be a full experience for every person who comes. And we're doing that here. So first of all, it is building and investing back into the UAE market. In terms of the product, we've always bought our packaging materials in the UAE. But now we're taking some of our main components of making potato chips, whether it's potato, oil, or flavor. And we've got one of our targets to buy all of it from the UAE. Now, the toughest one is the potato.
I can imagine.
So, in fact, just this past week, we have signed NDA with one of the largest vertical farming companies here in the UAE to explore the feasibility of growing our chipping potatoes either in the UAE or within the region.
So not only manufacturing here, you're also contributing to growing the potatoes in the UAE.
Absolutely. We want to buy every component to again try to keep all the money, the investments, and to keep that multiplier effect going within the UAE. And so that is something we'd like to do and we'd like to promote. So buy or really push the agenda of the UAE first, or make it in the Emirates, but at the same time buy it from the Emirates.
So this is a very altruistic target, Ananya. I think it's very admirable. And also what bolsters it is the fact that this is probably making financial sense for you. Otherwise, it would not be sustainable to continue doing such a thing.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's where it can be a really good win-win formula. And in fact, one of the opportunities that I see here is for the private sector to start looking at what are the top products which are being imported because it's not available in the UAE. So if we start looking at what are all these products which people need in the UAE for what's being used in the production, but they're importing it, is there a way to manufacture it in the UAE even cheaper? Because that can be a whole business model or a business opportunity on its own.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Localization is the name of the game. Absolutely.
Very much.
Thank you. Ahmad, what challenges do FMCG startups face when scaling in the UAE, and how can investors address these to unlock growth opportunities?
I think when we talk about startups, there's challenges wherever you are, whether in UAE or outside UAE. Startups always face a lot of difficulties to make it and turn it into a successful, profitable business. If we zoom in on UAE, there are a few things. One to start with is the financial part, right? So the operational cost in UAE is considered a bit on the higher side, and having the access to capital, as well as it's common within FMCG companies that the more you grow, the more money you need as a working capital. Because, okay, you're going to sell more, you need more stocks, you need more material, so your investment and working capital goes up. So the more you scale, you need more investment. So that's another side. And finally, is the whole access to manufacturing capabilities that are scalable yet cost efficient. That's why you'll find a lot of sourcing happening outside UAE. And you'll have brands that are, even though formed here, but they source from outside. So if we focus on those three main issues, and if we club the first two, the operational cost and the working capital, we see that there's a big opportunity for investors to come in and support from one angle of providing that access to money in the form of capital investment that are straightforward, put money in the company for equity that they can be used for running the operations or even as a working capital, or providing a different form of money access like revenue-based financing or loans that can be then utilized by companies as a working capital. Those kind of direct access from investors to startups will help them solve the financial topics. But that alone is not enough. And that's where us as a homegrown venture come in and help the startups optimize their operation, making sure that they know where the money is spent, they kind of utilize their P&L quite nicely, they do proper price structuring to make sure that the revenue and rotation of money is optimized, and hence they need less capital investment. And that's where, to the point of Mohamad, having smart investors and smart money and advising startups is critical so that they don't burn a lot of money. Especially when you look at the startups, almost 50% of the startups fail at year number 3 because of cash flow. So it's a critical topic. So smart investment, smart capital from investors. Then on the second hand, when we look at manufacturing, we see a lot of local initiatives, like Make It in the Emirat initiative driven by the government. It's paying quite nicely, and there's more than 120 billion AED investment in manufacturing by private and public sectors. So this is happening. We see a lot of development there, and that's an area where I believe there is more can be done from investors to set up local manufacturing capabilities that will help bring local supply chain into UAE and have it more efficient.
So it's more about giving the knowledge and giving the guidance and the know-how in order for these startups to be able to make it, in addition to the local manufacturing infrastructure.
Absolutely, and the money behind it.
Yeah, the money, that's where you come in, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, Olaf, how can the private sector empower SMEs, making sure a healthy balance between large, medium, and small enterprises is retained?
Yeah. So when you look at the whole ecosystem between the large size manufacturers, the medium and the small size, larger ones are always, let's say, active, whether on the sell side or the buy side, but they're active consolidating. That's the top of the pyramid. And more we see, I don't know if in the audience we have people in the M&A industry, but there is a huge appetite, especially for the past few years, there's a huge appetite to acquire larger to medium-sized food manufacturing capabilities across the region. So, but that, this is nice. Whoever is involved in that is always nice to transact in that direction. But what's creating behind that, that the tip of the pyramid, what's creating behind that is there is a vacuum. And that vacuum needs to be filled up by a new generation of medium-sized food manufacturing industries. But in order to get to that level, we need even larger amount of smaller size food manufacturing industries. So this is where, again, back to Ahmad, their company fostering and encouraging all these startups to really get their game straight and graduate into a medium-sized industry. This is extremely important. Today, with our observation, we can see that there is a bit of imbalance created behind the larger size manufacturers, but with these private initiatives that we're seeing around us, from homegrown ventures, from even private initiatives, this is all good in, let's say, raising the SMEs part of the industries a little bit more forward. Now, part of the SMEs, I wanna focus on the S of the SMEs, on the small, and not only on the medium. I think back to the previous panel, there was a lady that was talking about the role of universities. I think that's extremely critical because the S of SMEs has to be fed by the younger generations, even younger than whatever you're seeing here. The fresh graduates coming out of university with fresh minds, with fresh ideas, whether it works or it doesn't work. We need those, let's say, challenging ideas that are coming out of universities, agro, food, and nutrition types of faculties. We need to graduate those entrepreneurs, and I'd like to call them researchpreneurs, and turn those ideas into business ventures. As soon as that happens, together with companies such as Homegrown Ventures, among other VCs and among other mentors that would support these ideas, they can really graduate them from an idea into a business, from a business into the SMEs. They will get filtered along the way, but at least we can build a healthy ecosystem feeding from the S to the M, and then from the M to the larger ones, and then into acquisitions, consolidations, and that's how the whole ecosystem can come together.
So basically to attack the top part of the funnel, to increase the S's, to get more M's, and
if you're looking at the funnel that way,
yeah.
I'm looking at it like that.
Okay.
But yes, we need obviously much more S's in order to feed into the M's, because there is a bit of a lack of medium-sized manufacturing industry across the region.
Makes sense, yeah,
Yep.
makes sense. Mohamad, what lessons from your experience in exiting a food business would be valuable for current and future food entrepreneurs in the UAE? And limited to 2025.
Look, it depends on what the entrepreneur wants. Like, I always say if you want to build $100+ million business, you need to think about 3 pillars in the business. The first thing is the product. Second thing is the cost price of the product. Third thing is the route to market and, let's say, connections. So first thing, which is the product. Of course, you need to have the right product with the right USP, but also the product is scalable. So you need to make sure the product is scalable. And number 2 is pricing. You can have the best product in the world, but the cost is not effective. So what entrepreneurs, because always entrepreneurs focus on something and they leave the other things and they end up doing either a small business or business that is not really scalable. Second thing, when I talk about like cost and price, you need to make sure you invest as an entrepreneur in terms and all like now you have AI, for example, like you can really integrate it in most of the backbone businesses. Also technology in terms of manufacturing, operations, logistics, procurement, HR. I think from the beginning they have to invest so much time there. So for them to have the product at the right cost, so they can save a lot of money and they can make it more scalable. And the third one, which I think it's the most important thing for scalability and to take the business into another level is the route to market. You need to have, of course, a good team can take this into the market, but also the network. So entrepreneurs here, I feel they fall into this because it's a tough place to be because the competition is huge. Here, everyone wants to come to the UAE. Everyone wants to operate in the UAE. Everyone wants to open a company in the UAE. We're talking, me and you, before. You open an idea, and then you feel like there is 10 companies next year copying you. So entrepreneur has to invest time in networking. Like, for example, I had the fortune to have a good network, within the ecosystem. So, like, if you go to Saudi or if you go to US, to speak like a customer like Walmart, for example, they're not gonna entertain you unless if you come really from a good network that gives you credibility. So made in the UAE, it gives you credibility, but also a network can route you there. It saves years, and you might not reach there even in years. So these 3 pillars, what I see always in entrepreneurs, they fail in one of them. Once you fail in one of them, you won't be able to scale the business into a really good size business. And also this comes like to the mentoring to people like Ahmad, like, because also a lot of new generation entrepreneurs, they're falling all into tech businesses, like food businesses. People maybe are running a bit away from it, but I always say, if you want to open a food business, why don't you make it tech-enabled? You don't need to be in a tech business. So this is why, and when you mentor entrepreneurs, make sure, because when we started our business, we ended up with 1,200 employees, but at the beginning, the business was so much manual. By time, we've learned to make it so much tech-enabled, especially the backbone and the sales part of the business. This will help you to take this business into another level. So I think if you focus on these 3 pillars, and every entrepreneur really has the time, but which is not easy, they will be able to scale it into another level, because UAE, honestly, we're blessed to be here. Why? Because whenever I used to travel, I'm sure, Ananya, you feel the same thing. When I should go to Costco or to Walmart in the US, and when I say like the product is made in the UAE, the first thing is like, wow. So we have an advantage. People now, if you see what happened in this Dubai chocolate, for example, it went viral, and I was like, in a city, like I was in Bucharest in Romania, in a Lebanese restaurant, and then he told me, we have a Dubai chocolate, we have a Dubai desert, Dubai chocolate desert. It was so funny, like to just see this there, like it was so random. So we are fortunate to be here and to be in a place that you can scale, and you have the skill set, you have everything available. But in food, I think entrepreneurs need a lot of support to push their amazing product, amazing idea into a really scalable, sizable business.
Fully agree. And the mentoring part is a critical part of that, absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Always, yeah.
Yousuf, how much should sustainability play a role in making the UAE a global hub for food investments?
So this word sustainable, a lot of times when you speak to manufacturers or companies and you say this word, people assume expensive, problem, scared. They get scared of this word. Why? Bottom line, it's beneficial for the entire ecosystem as a whole, right? For example, take solar energy, right? I mean, we were the first to do this in our area in 2010. We covered the entire roof with solar panels, and a lot of times you get questions. Oh, why do you do it? Is it really that helpful? But do it, and you will see the returns you get on it. Obviously, it's not going to be what you expect, but any saving is a saving. You do your math. There are a lot of initiatives in the country itself that help you do this. I remember when we were doing this back in 2010, there was the Shams initiative. It was very streamlined, straightforward. It took literally several weeks, but you could finish. You could get all your approvals and done. And the same goes with the energy that you use within your facilities, be it your natural gas or any clean energy that people are now moving towards. Look, it's inevitable. This change is going to come, and you feel the pressure now as an exporter, as a major exporter here, where most of our products are exported to the rest of the world. Clients today ask about this as well. They say, okay, your product is great, this is great, that's great, but let's see what you do on a sustainable level. What do you add value to the world? It's not like before where you do your business and you leave. No, you have to clean up after yourself. We, as a whole, we do quite a lot of damage to the world. And we have our part, which we can play. Similarly, 10 years ago, you look at a production line. Personally, for me, I look at the production line and I see, okay, quality, speed, output, price. But now it's, okay, how efficient is it? How much power is it going to take? I don't want to overuse, even though I have the capacity available. I don't want to go heavy. These are things that are becoming more important in today's world, and it's not going to end. It's something that investors, entrepreneurs have to look at when planning their projects, when looking at doing new initiatives, and it ties in very nicely. There are benefits, there are savings everywhere, whether it be in utilities, whether it be in recycling your water. Yes, it comes with some pain, but the payoff eventually is there, and you look good, bottom line.
Yeah, I fully agree, especially with something like your business. You already mentioned 3-4 sustainability initiatives that you guys are working on, so you are a role model in this field.